Greetings, I am Tom Earl, and this is my year of balance. Such an honor and a pleasure to have you here with me this week. You can either listen to this as a podcast or watch it as a video, all at tomearl.com/beliefs1. So before we jump into this very special episode, what we want to do is just get our breath and our energy aligned with our intentions. So you know how we do this. Breathe in through your nose, and as we do that, reach up and then release. Here we go. Breathe in and release. One more time. Ready? Breathe in and release. So what we have for you this week and next week as well is an episode on beliefs. The inspiration for this came from, I was reading through Oprah's O magazine. I'm a big fan of it. And she had picked one question and interviewed a bunch of different people on that same question. And I just really enjoyed getting to see the diversity of responses. And that's what I do in my live events as well, is when we have a room full of people and we can dialogue about one topic. We really get that taste of diverse opinions on a same subject. And I wanted to explore that through interviews. So rather than interviewing one person and having them talk about their beliefs for a half hour, an hour, instead I interviewed 8 people and asked every single one of them the same exact series of questions and found out what they said. And you'll find I give them some prompts, some follow-up questions, but for the most part, I just had them come, I sat down, I asked them some random questions that had nothing to do with beliefs so that they would relax and stop treating it like it was an interview and there's a right or wrong way to answer questions. And instead they got nice and calm and in their zone. And then I went in and asked them questions about their beliefs. So my initial intention was I was going to chop up all those answers into about a half hour to an hour long segment. But as I was listening to everybody's answers, I really saw that the responses were so thoughtful, genuine, and deep that I didn't want to cut out their answers so that you could really benefit from hearing their thought process. So instead of cutting things out and chopping it into one short episode, we're going to spread it out into 2 episodes, one this week and then part 2 next week, so you can get the whole taste, the whole experience of people's answers. So what's going to happen is in a second, you're going to get introduced to the 8 people that I interviewed, and we're going to go through the first half of the questions I asked them. And then next week, we'll jump back in, they'll reintroduce themselves, and we'll go through the last half of the questions I asked them. So I know you're going to enjoy this. And if you're wondering, how did I select the 8 people to interview? Really, it was over the course of a month. Anybody who came over to my house, or rather people who came over to my house and had the time, I said, hey, I'm doing a project. Can I interview you? So without further ado, let's jump in. And then afterwards, I'll say peace before we leave. Okay, so without further ado, here we go.
Hello, my name is Netta, and my favorite color is purple.
What shade of purple?
Willy Wonka's shade of purple.
What do you believe in?
I believe in God. I also believe in people's potential to do good.
What does that mean?
It means that there's always going to be that part in everybody that wants to see other people succeed. It's just been tainted by a lot of other self-serving bullshit that we have to work so hard to undo.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What else do you believe in?
I believe in the concept that the good comes with the bad, for example, earthquakes are responsible for some of our most beautiful and necessary geological formations. We need earthquakes, right? There's a lot of good that comes with it, but unfortunately, because earthquakes exist, people also die. Sometimes, like, that's how people know, that's how, like, things like our technological advancements in museums, for example, have developed, is because it's the presence of earthquakes where we need to get smarter about how we build foundations.
What do you believe about change?
I feel like, I believe in evolution, and I feel like evolution does not just stop as far as like how we biologically adapted to our surroundings. Like we have to change if we want to survive.
My name is Rami El-Etrabi, and my favorite color is green.
What shade of green?
What shade of green? It's changed, but one time I had a car that was hunter green, and I loved that. A dark green is nice.
What do you believe in?
What do I believe in? I believe in life after love. Like share. What do I believe in? I mean, I believe in kindness. I believe in the power of peaceful, loving kindness. I think powerful things happen when people do come together and when people help each other and support each other. You always see how beautiful humanity is in the wake of a tragedy. Mm. It's really unfortunate that that's when you see it. But like, I believe in that. I believe in silver linings. And I believe there's something cheesy like when you watch a tragedy unfold on TV, you always want to look for the people who are helping. Because that's where you get inspired. And that's true. I like those who are willing to help, willing to, get down in the dirt with the people. Solidarity is like, I believe in that. Love, solidarity.
It's awesome.
Hello, my name is Iman Siraj Blanche. My favorite color is, I would probably say, purple and green.
Purple and green or?
And green.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any particular shades of either?
It should be a more reddish purple and then a more like vibrant emerald type of green.
Okay.
Yeah. What
do you believe in?
I mean, like in what context though?
Whatever context you experience.
That's such a big question, Tom, because obviously, we're Muslims, so, we believe in God and the prophets and the angels. So then there's like, that's like the big part of that question. And then there's, just the real everyday life of that question of trying to believe in yourself and just believing that the world could be a better place and things like that. Yeah.
What else do you believe in?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I believe that this world isn't the end all and that there's something much bigger than ourselves to work toward. And I try to remember that so you don't, there's so much stuff in this world that people can be envious of or feel, self-conscious about. And that's a slow struggle to, to still care about the things that are happening in this world, but not be too invested where it's getting you down. Yeah. And it's easy to get down in this world, especially if you live in a westernized country. Yeah.
How come when I asked you, you're like,
it's a big question. And then it's just like, it's something that you just kind of are living in your belief and not just really thinking about it all the time. But it's a very big question. Yeah.
Hello, my name's Omar, and my favorite color is blue.
Ooh. What is any kind of shade of blue in general?
I like navy.
Ooh.
Royal, give me a good royal.
What do you believe in?
I believe in freedom.
What else do you believe in?
I believe in love.
What else?
I believe in justice.
Hi, my name is Lupita, and my favorite color is rainbow.
He wishes to be
Lupita's right there. It's right behind you.
That's my nickname. Can I do that?
I was like,
Can I do that?
how did I miss that? Okay, so that's a nickname.
Hi, my name is Adobe, and my favorite color, I actually have like 4. So do I have?
Go for it.
Oh, black, pink, yellow, and white.
Any certain shade of any of those colors?
The brightest version of those colors. I don't think you can get that with black, but black is just very mysterious and deep, and pink is just happy and confident, and then yellow is optimistic, and then white is just serene. So
nice.
Yes.
What do you believe in?
I believe in happiness, love, hard work, God, joy, all the good things in life. Yes.
Out of any of those you named, can you explain what it looks like?
So love, happiness, and peacefulness, and all those things. I think God, that pretty much encompasses what I think of God. Like God is a forgiving. He's forgiving. He's loving. He's amazing. I don't. There's so many adjectives you can use to explain God. So I think anything good and positive is what I use.
It's awesome.
Yep.
What does it mean to believe in happiness?
To believe in the joy, even in the bad, you believe that something good is coming from this. So I think that's a good summary of.
That's awesome.
Hello, my name is Yusef Tershani, aka Dr. Yo-Yo, and my favorite color is turquoise.
Any sort of shade or representation of turquoise that you've seen that's the best?
In the ocean.
In the ocean?
I've seen some amazing shades of turquoise.
Like coral reefs?
Stands out. Exactly. Yeah.
What do you believe in?
I believe in justice. I believe in love. I believe in our innate desire to learn. And learn from, as a child, what's going to happen when I knock this fork on the ground for the 5th time? Does daddy still come and pick it up? To learning about other cultures, learning about our world around us. Like tonight, learning more about how we can be part of the force to stem the tide of climate change.
That's awesome.
Of how we can continue to do more in the world. I really believe in that.
That's awesome. What is love? What is justice?
I think they're the same. I think justice is doing what's right and what's fair, even when you don't have to, or even when it's hard for you, when it's inconvenient. Hashtag be inconvenient. Justice is creating systems to make sure that those who have the least power are given power, and that power isn't taken away from them. Love is the same thing. To be able to have a just system, you have to have true love for everyone around you, and believe that you as an individual, get back to like your self-interest, you as an individual will live a happier, better life if your neighbor is not treated unjustly, if your neighbor is doing well. And there's the teaching in Islam that if you go to bed at night while your neighbor is hungry, you basically disavowed your obligation to them. That I do believe in that we have that obligation.
That's awesome.
You know what's funny about that? Literally last night, I went to my neighbor's house and gave him food. Not that they needed it though. It was because we got a gobble meal, you know, like Blue Apron and Gobble and all those. Yeah. Accidentally, Nadia was supposed to cancel for this week, but one of the meals had pork in it. And we don't eat pork, but I know our neighbors did. So just instead of bringing just the pork tenderloin, I brought the whole meal for them to be able to prepare. And now we're hoping it's going to pay dividends. It should be just that good. But we know that Harry, our neighbor, was a catering chef.
Okay.
For a while, and so we know he has the potential to cook up a storm. We're hoping one day we'll get invited. But I would have done it anyway, even if he wasn't.
Hello, my name is Benita Isidento. My favorite color is yet to be determined.
What will determine it?
I'm not sure. I've switched around. At first I said yellow, but just because I needed to pick one since it's a question that everyone keeps asking. But then I realized I really don't like yellow. So then I think a few years ago I switched it to orange and green, that combination. But I don't know, I don't have any orange or green. So I don't have a favorite color. But since I have to pick one, orange.
You don't have to pick one.
Orange, yeah. Yeah, I picked something because yes, people need to know your favorite color, but I haven't picked, really I like black, let's be honest, yeah. You'll see a lot of neutral colors in my closet.
Nice. Yeah. What do you believe in?
Loyalty and respect.
And what does either one of those look like?
I always say those. I mean, I guess especially from like a relationship, interacting with people. If you respect someone, whether they're present or they're not present, you're always going to treat them a certain way. Always be conscious of things, of just how you do things that might impact them. And again, with the loyalty, so both of them together. So I, for that reason, I guess I believe that that's what it would look like. Just because it's one of those things that if you truly do respect someone and you're loyal to them, whether they're there, whether they're present or not, you're still going to be true to who you are. Yeah, even in their presence. So.
What's one of the quickest ways to earn your loyalty?
I don't know that there's a particular thing you would have to do. I think if it's there, it would be felt. And it could be anything. It could be the slightest thing. I don't think it would be things that you would consciously do to show I'm loyal. It would just surface itself in just multiple ways, I think. It could be very little things, but I think you can feel it without someone actually consciously maybe telling you, oh, I'm so loyal to you and all that. I think you just know. Yeah.
Would you say the same thing for respect?
I think so. And again, it wouldn't be something that you would request of someone. It would be something that someone would just decide on their own. And I think you would also, that would be apparent. You know people that truly respect you right now in your life. So.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Rodney Charles, and my favorite color is yellow.
Ah, any shade of yellow in particular?
Vibrant.
Vibrant yellow? What do you believe in?
I believe in love. And let's make that more specific. What is that? Well, I believe in community, I believe in caring about people, and I believe in people caring for the greater interconnectivity that is us.
And that's love?
That's love, as far as I can ascertain it.
How can you tell when something is or isn't love?
I can tell when it's love due to being in touch with the vibrational factors and frequencies that is me. Essentially, if something is not love, I feel an aversion to it, a sense of not warmth toward that particular thing. And when it is love, or when the potential for love is there, then I feel attracted to that in a very different way. Now, if it's not loving initially, then I feel attracted to it in a way that's somewhat protected, but at the same time wishing to shift that to love.
Yeah.
But if it's resistant to that shift, then invariably you lovingly move on.
How do your beliefs influence the way you live your life?
I mean, I have a lot of faith that God exists, and I accept that faith is a big part of my life. And so, I have faith I'm going to make it to work alive. You know, my beliefs have more to do with, like, I feel like it's just accepting that things are not going to go as I planned. And, you know, I have faith that they will, but I also a lot of acceptance that that it's very likely I'm not going to get the outcome I expected.
So I brought up how your beliefs influence your life, and you started talking about faith. What do faith and belief have in common, and what do they have that's different from each other?
I mean, I have faith that there is a God. I have faith that I'm going to make it back home in one piece. You know, I have faith I'm going to keep my job tomorrow. You know, faith means that I'm very well aware that there's nothing that I'm hoping for that's guaranteed. But I have faith that it will all be okay. You know, everything has a reason for why it's happened. You know.
And what's the difference between faith and belief?
Belief, I think faith comes from belief. You know, I believe that there's a God, so I have faith that whatever happens, it's God's will. Faith is taking the risks that my beliefs entail.
That's deep.
Yeah.
It's gonna get some likes.
Yeah.
So belief comes first?
Belief comes first, yeah. You know, I think that, like, what is it? Yeah. Like, I feel like before you put that faith in action, the belief has to be there first. You know, I believe things are going to get better. And I have faith that whatever it is I'm doing will produce a desired outcome. And if it's not the outcome I hoped for, then it's going to be an outcome that is eventually going to benefit me, and I will see the reasons later.
I like that a lot. That's cool. How do your beliefs influence the way you live your life?
Try to be present with people. Try to listen. I try not to pass judgment too much. I really believe everyone has a perspective. I just told you when I was in the South, off camera, I had told you that I really wanted to chat with people who were rocking the Confederate flag. I wanted to understand what this flag meant, because I'm making an assumption about this person, that they're racist, they're evil, they're gonna kill me. And I needed to hear what the perspective, what does this flag mean to you? But I never was able to actually have any conversations around that.
How do your beliefs affect the way you live your life?
Well, I try to be kind to people. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. And I try to be kind to myself, which is probably harder than being kind to strangers and other people. And then I'm just always I'm constantly thinking about things and the effect that they have on either myself or the people around me.
Do you mind elaborating on any of them?
I suppose, I'm always thinking about, of course, my daughter and how the decisions that I make or have made will affect her in the long run. And if I've made the right decision, and all I can do is pray about that, and inshallah it works out for the best.
Inshallah.
Yeah. So that's one thing. The decision to leave California and then move back down south, which is partly for her and partly for myself. Yeah.
How do your beliefs influence the way you live your life?
I think it makes me more it makes me push further and be more ambitious, because sometimes you can get depressed. Like you can get on Instagram and like, oh, someone's, you know, buying a new car or something. You're just like, damn, I'm not doing that. So like, I think sometimes you think like, okay, you take a step back and you realize like your life is different from somebody else's, and it just helps you. The Bible obviously is a tangible thing for us to look through life lessons and learn like, okay, this is how things are going to be, and this is how you react to those situations. So I think that's how I use my faith and my beliefs to kind of go through my day-to-day and my personal life.
That's awesome. Yeah. Are your faith and beliefs the same thing?
Yes, I think, yeah. It's synonymous to me. Yes.
There's no right or wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, my faith is what I believe in, so yes.
That's awesome. Well, how do your beliefs influence the way you live your life?
I think what helps is having people around you who also share those beliefs. Building upon the great examples that you have in your life, people who you look up to, whether it was your teachers, your friends, people you saw on TV that you read about, and reaffirming for yourself when those positive things happen, telling yourself that that's what you want to do, that's what you want to achieve. And on the opposite, when you aren't doing what you should be doing, telling yourself or internalizing that this isn't the outcome that it should be. As a kid, I loved learning how to game the system. And that could be in anything at all, right? It could be figuring out how I could get in front of a line somewhere, or how I could, in a video game, bypass, find like that secret warp to pass 5 levels. But it also led me to try to see how I could get away with like candy in a store, or how I could maybe get a trading card that actually wasn't mine. And I realized after a while I was being unjust to the system in general, to individuals. And it's something I still struggle with in small ways, not in that same way. I don't steal candy anymore. But in some ways I try to get around things or cheat the system, and that's not part of what my belief system is that I want to internalize. And there's also that second level of change that happens when you're an example. Now that I have a daughter, I'm very conscious of that. And now that I'm in leadership positions as a chief medical officer, I know that people are watching how I interact with patients, whether I complete all my notes completely, whether I'm, doing all the things, stamping my time card electronically when everyone else is supposed to. And I think it helps to have those systems in place of accountability. When we spent time in Zimbabwe, when we spent time in Africa and saw some of the horrible atrocities and injustices that were happening there, there are people who may claim that as a peoples or as individuals that certain races or certain countries or certain cultures are inclined to justice more than others. And from what I saw, that's not the case. And simply having checks and balances is having just systems that allow us to treat our fellow human being in the right way. Some of those I saw, the best example, and unfortunately, the film told us tonight, but even a worse example is thinking of Rwanda, that sometimes we have to go through horrible atrocities, through near genocide, to really turn the tide. And Rwanda is sort of a beacon of hope for the subcontinent, for Africa. Subcontinent's usually Africa, sub-Saharan Africa. That they saw that the divide, not only by race, the Hutus and the Tutsis, but gender. So they've actually taken it upon them that they have a minimum ratio that their Congress has to be of females now. Because they know inherently, we know that systems that have a better gender balance are less inclined to go to war, are more inclined to invest in their social systems, are more inclined to invest in their education. And so now they have actually a minimum quota of having that balance. And health outcomes, job outcomes, all these wonderful measurables for Rwanda are going through the roof relative
awesome.
to everywhere else, and they don't have more money, they don't have more resources, they don't have they just have commitment to their beliefs that they want it to happen, and they have a system to make sure that it's going to happen.
That's wonderful. And how do your beliefs influence the way you live your life?
Interesting. We're in a lot of ways. Since I believe that, I think I always look out for those things. And I guess I try my best to also give those things, at least for the people that deserve it, right? Not everyone, but because I believe in it so much, I think I'm always conscious of it. So asking myself, okay, if you do this, how is this, how is that going to impact this person if you really, respect them or this and this. So more from that aspect.
That's great.
Yeah.
How do your beliefs then influence your everyday living?
I think my beliefs influence my everyday living in terms of just how I see the world and reflect the world. So essentially, I believe that all is good. Firstly, in order to make sense of that, you have to understand that I believe, Rodney Charles believes, that time is not linear. So if I look at the situation around me, I don't necessarily believe that this is what it is. This is what it appears to be 5 minutes ago, a couple seconds ago, whatever. But then we are going to move away from that. That thing that we're moving toward is not coming next. It has actually happened already. But we are just playing through this timeline. Think of it, if you will, as having recorded something, a radio program or a TV, network, and you're playing it back. Okay, you're looking at whatever's happening now, but whatever's coming has already happened. It's been prescribed. That's going, and you're heading in that direction ultimately. So for me, it's very much, that's kind of the way that I look at it. That's how my vision impacts my reality.
Sounds like a belief on time too.
It does, because there have been points in my life where I thought that this is not good, this is bad, only to learn later on that this, whatever that bad thing is or experience was pivotal in my being able to do now this thing that I love.
That's wonderful. What's one of the longest held beliefs you've had?
Longest held beliefs I had. That everything happens for a reason.
What does that mean?
It means that everything that happens was meant to happen.
When did you start believing that?
When I really started to believe that when I started to get rejected from jobs that I was totally qualified for. And I even felt like I was more qualified for it than like my peers, for example. But then when I was later presented with opportunities from being rejected by those jobs that I wouldn't have seen if I did get accepted to the jobs that I thought were best for me, that's when I started to realize, I was like, there's something bigger than me, in this, that I could think that I know what's best for me, but then in retrospect, I'd be like, well, if I took that opportunity that I thought I wanted so bad, I wouldn't have discovered what I'm really passionate about.
That's awesome. What's the belief you've had the longest in your life? What's the longest held belief you've had?
I believe if you do good, you're going to get good in return. Karma. I believe in that. Is that cheesy? Is that a stupid answer?
No, why? Did I give some sort of facial expression that made you think so? What came up for you where you felt like it might have been a cheesy answer?
I mean, because I have friends who don't believe in it. It's like I try to tell friends, you really shouldn't act like that because it'll come back to you. And they're like, oh, I don't believe in that. I was like, oh, it's so convenient to like not believe that when you put energy into the world, it comes back to you. I mean, look, bad things happen to good people, but I don't think that necessarily doesn't mean that you can't generate positive energy for yourself. So I believe in that.
How old are you when you started to believe in that?
Probably like right as I was graduating college, maybe. 22, 23, 21, 22.
What made you start believing in it?
I think I read a book called The Artist's Way. And The Artist's Way is very much about intentionality. And have you ever read it?
I've not, but it's been referenced a lot.
The Artist's Way is very much about manifesting your reality through your own thoughts, your own ideas. It's in you. You just have to speak it to power. And so I think with the karma, it sort of felt like a natural sort of understanding to come that anything that happens to me is a result of my own doing. So things come back. Karma maybe simplifies it as you do good, you get good, you do bad, you get bad. But in general, the energy you put out there does come back.
What's one of the longest beliefs that you've held in your life?
I was supposed to be the belief in Allah. That's one of the very first foundations I've always had, And then, of course, my name being Iman, it's a constant reminder of that belief. That's probably it.
How old were you when you started to believe in Allah?
How old was I? Probably like my first real starting to think about Allah. Or I guess I would say not necessarily the belief, but just thinking about Allah and what that means to be Muslim and having this greater entity around me. I was probably 6 years old.
Wow.
And then because at 6 it's like my parents, there's times you're gonna be turning 7. It's and that's when your bad deeds are gonna start counting against you. And I was thinking about that. I was like, oh no. It's but I was kind of mischievous, and then I was like, I gotta get these in before it starts counting against me. I was like, all right, let's get these shenanigans in. And then when at 6, I lost my grandfather, my dad's father, and that had an effect on me because I didn't feel like I knew him that well. Mm-hmm. I only have 3 memories of him, and they're kind of just these vague memories. And then of course there's lots of pictures, but I only have 3 memories of him, and one of those memories are him in his casket. So it was just, and people tell me stories and I believe them, but it was strange. You hear about this man who affected so many lives. He had 12 children. So there's so many stories. and then, my mom gave me a book when I was 8 about janaza and, what happens to our soul. And so I would skim through that, and then I would find a quiet place and just be alone. I would think about him and I would make dua for him. And then sometimes I would go into the guest bedroom and I'd hide underneath the bed and I'd think about what it would be like to be in the grave. I was very serious at this point. It's what's it going to be like in the grave? What's it going to be it's like having those questions. I was like, am I going to know the answers? I was like, do I need to study? I was like, it's going to be like a test I need to study for, or is it just something that's just going to be inside your heart and you're just going to automatically answer? Like, even if you studied, if you weren't really living that life, would you just give the wrong answer anyway? So I was thinking about that. So,
what's something you believed in the longest?
God?
What's God?
God is love for me.
What you believe?
Mm-hmm.
What you said, one of the first things you said is, I believe in love.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That is cool. I like that.
I
see what you did there.
I didn't do it. Don't blame me for that one. What's one of your longest held beliefs you've had in your life?
That's a very deep question. Ooh.
Tupac lives.
Well, I'm an East Coast chick, so but no, longest held belief, I have no idea, actually. I have absolutely no clue. I would, again, my same answer would be God, I guess.
God?
Yeah.
When did you start to believe in God?
It was ingrained in me since I was a little kid. My mom is very, very religious. Our Wi-Fi code is Jesus is Lord. If that gives you any idea of what my life is.
Neighbor's getting free Wi-Fi now.
Jesus is Lord, yes, capital J and L. But yeah, I would definitely say God. I believe in God. I believe everything.
When did it go from, you said ingrained, when did it go from ingrained to a belief? When did you decide that for yourself?
I grew up Catholic, so I did the Holy Communion, I did the confirmation, and then it just became very routine. And one day, I think I just went to church. Okay, this is a very personal question. So one day I went to confession. So as a Catholic, you do confession when you feel you need to in order to receive the Holy Communion. So I went to confession, and after confessing my sins, the priest said, "Let me see your face," and that he wasn't supposed to do that. And so for me, I was like taken aback, and I was like, "Why is he asking me to do that? Like, who are you?" Like, so I think from then I started to question like, what's going on here? Like, I grew up Catholic, and it seems like everybody that you're supposed to trust is not doing the right thing. So eventually I took a step back and I didn't go to church at all. I started reading other religions, and but I felt like I still was Christian. I was like, I think I need to stay in the Christian world. So now I just go to a non-denominational church, and I think that works for me more.
It's awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us. What is a belief that you've had? What is the longest belief that you've had?
That 2 is greater than 1.
Why do you laugh?
I mean, when I go back to like numbers, I like have to learn that like I love numbers as a kid, and like learning that like a certain number was above another number. I distinctly remember learning that as like a kid in elementary school. But I laugh because I was a math major as an undergrad, one of my degrees, University of South Florida, and I was a math tutor. And in the tutor lab, we'd have people coming in. I called it my fractional clinic because they'd come in with their problems or their diseases, their concerns was that they hated math and they were math phobic. They were allergic to math, and how do I treat this allergy? And it would be people from the humanities or from the business school who were like, oh, why do I even have to take this effing class? I hate this stuff. And I would, depending on how they felt, I would help them along to show that they could do it. But every now and then I would drop the 1 = 2 proof. And there's a proof that you can use with a slight sleight of hand if you're not paying attention, and it just starts with given A = B, and then doing some basic arithmetic, and at the end you can basically prove to someone 1 = 2, which we all know inherently is false. But what my lesson in that is that if you don't question the basic fundamental premises of any argument, you can be convinced of anything. You can have the wool pulled over your eyes. You can be convinced that the Aryan race is a superior race and that the Nazis and the work that they did was correct. And because they lived in a time where there was poverty, there was oppression, there was all these other things happening, that people just wanted to believe in something, and they didn't question the line of argument that got Hitler to the place where there were people who really were supporting him. We had massive crowds. We think of the Nazis and the individuals who were doing the gas chambers, but to me, the people who are really the ones who allowed it to happen are the masses who allowed him to rise to power. And this is why we have to keep our leaders accountable right now. We have to keep Trump, and we have to keep the Republican Party, even the Democrats, anyone. We have to keep them accountable, whoever our leadership is, whether it's leaders of our city councils all the way up to the top. And without that, people's natural tendencies is to, if they don't have that accountability, they're going to go back to stealing candy or stealing the trading cards because they can get away with it. And it's unfortunately sometimes our human nature, that self-service, that gets us to go there unless we have systems in place.
That's awesome. What's one of the longest beliefs that you've held?
I guess without sounding so cynical, I've always believed that human beings are not capable of true love. But then I think it may also be coming from a place where there's maybe a deeper part of me that seeks that. But really, that's always something that for a very long time, probably from my teens, I've always just believed that, probably only God is capable of true love. And God is not something seen, right? So it's easy to just pass it off to that. But I don't. Yeah, I don't believe human beings are. I think we can love, but in the ideal sense, and even the word love is not. I guess it means different things to different people, but in the sense that we're constantly always using it, it's this big magical thing that encompasses all the different things, right? Love, loyalty, but we've seen it. We've seen so many people claim to love you and then that falls apart. So then that makes me question, well, was that ever truly like a true love?
What is true love?
I don't know. And that's why I said maybe I'm cynical, because from what I've seen around me, we use the word, we say the words, right? Because in our lives, someone tells you they love you, you say it back. But then as things happen, you question, well, if you really did love me, would that have would you have done that, or would this have happened? So I don't know that as human beings we actually are capable of even understanding what true love is, right? Because I guess in the way it's communicated, it seems like love is, if you love someone, then no matter what they do, right? They hit you, they're on drugs, they're this, you should be able to look upon that bigger love that you have for them and I guess some people do. But yeah, for those reasons, I think it's difficult, at least for human beings to do that.
What's one of the beliefs that you've had the longest?
That people are inherently good. And it's one of the beliefs I'd say that I've had the longest, because I feel that I've had to fight for that belief in the face of sometimes media, sometimes people who have given in to their pain, asserting to me that you're not to trust, you're not to love, you're not to explore, you're not to travel, you're not to play.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, indeed. I hope you enjoyed part 1 of this 2-part series on beliefs. And, please share this with folks and let folks know that you enjoyed this. I think it was really awesome getting to hear how people who don't normally get a chance to talk about their beliefs had an opportunity to express them in such an awesome and authentic way. It really touched me. I've been listening to these interviews over and over again. So I hope you enjoyed this, and be sure to check in next week. Every episode comes out on a Friday. So wherever you're listening to this within the week, by Friday, it'll come out with part 2. So hope you enjoy it. Share it with some folks. Encourage them to listen to it so we can continue to spread this. And a big shout out and thank you to all the folks who took their time to answer the questions for all of us. So until next week, as always, wishing you peace and blessings.